Welcome to Commentary Show. I'm considering also having a wonderful day on this 23rd September 2025. We are doing more reaction to The Good Place, and yeah, I'm gonna be honest. We don't have that much time because we have 3 days to do 3 seasons. However, the good news is we're at season 2, episode 10. So we're done with season 2. Tomorrow's season 3. After tomorrow, season 4. I'm gonna be honest. The show is not as good as I remember. I'm sorry. I said it. Here I said it. So, kind of cool. So we're gonna start with season 2, episode 3. Now, here's the problem. The name of the season, I don't know what it is because it's not possible to say it in French. So this is kind of crazy. So basically, this episode starts with the morality of helping Michael. First of all, Michael asked for the help. He said, "Listen, you can. I know they have the power, but we have to stand together." Everybody's like, "Okay, well, should we trust Michael? Should we work with Michael? What is the goal of working with Michael?" And the goal is the good place. But at the same time, can we trust him? And if we can trust him, you know, in fact, because the one that trusts him the most is Eleanor, which again, remember, is the main character of The Good Place. Sometimes we forget, or we tend to forget, to the fact that Eleanor is kind of the leader of the band. She says, "Yeah, we should trust Michael." They are not trusting Michael, but this is really good because do you trust somebody? And again, it's all a question of morals, right? So, The Good Place, and this is
we have my first shift in a freaking long time.
I don't know why it says okay. So this is myself talking. Which weird, right? The Good Place is also about the bad thing, right? So for example, you put yourself in the devil advocate, right? Michael, if he betrays them, but they allow him on the team, did he betray them or did he betray themselves because they allow someone that was not trustworthy and they put this trust in him? Now this is a completely different question. This is a bit harder, right? So there you go. So we have Janet once again, who is the neutral part. Michael is a bad guy. The good guy. Janet is neutral. So this is super cool, and we're talking about the factor of, and this is kind of nice because Michael says, "Hey, we can ask for Janet, right? Since she's neutral, and since she's neutral, she doesn't mind helping Michael, or she doesn't mind helping the group." Now this is cool because the more they reboot her, the better she becomes, right? So then she says, and it's a specific model, so it's always the same Janet, always the same model but different mentality because of her experience and shit like that, right? So she said that she might be the most advanced. And this is kind of cool because if we reboot her, we lose Janet, right? And this is kind of this is kind of crazy, right? This is super nice, right? So to sell, Michael said, so this is kind of complex also. Michael to sell the idea that this is a good place stole a good Janet from a neutral place. Now, why is that important? Because yes, Janet is neutral, but and this is kind of the weird thing, right? The Janet is super nice. It's the Janet, which is, I believe, what they're trying to say is it's not necessarily she's a nicer side of Janet, but it's not, she doesn't have allegiance, right? She's still a neutral party. So this is kind of cool. We get the explanation from Janet. We get the Eleanor asking, "How can we trust you?" This is super cool. Super good. And this is kind of crazy because Eleanor's like, "What's the deal? What's the deal? Like, you deserve retirement. What's in for you?" He's like, "Well," Michael was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to a good place too." And this is the questioning because at the same time, and this is also kind of nuts because you look at Michael, right, and you look at, okay, well, what are the consequences of bringing him? And they do explore that later on. So there's gonna be a blimp, and that blimp is gonna be like, well, if you have a pure heart, or if people balance your action as good or evil, you'll be able to traverse through this good place, right? So bringing somebody like Michael, enabling somebody like Michael to come with you, or helping somebody like Michael, is that selling your soul to the devil. However, and this is a very large like ask. You took somebody like Eleanor, and you took somebody like Eleanor, and Eleanor at the beginning was not nice. We did help her. So if you can save Eleanor, can you save Michael? Now Michael is a demon, so does that even matter? So they're talking about what is the point of helping him or not. So Tahani, we see more of her past the past of Tahani, and this is really sad because you see once again, and this is kind of insane because when you look at the first flashback, Shiri had multiple flashback, Eleanor had multiple flashback, Jason had two, Tahani had two. In the first one, we see a Tahani that's still a good person, although she is a victim of her sister's success. She's a good person. In the second one, we see just how far she is willing to go to get some of the limelight herself. The focus to be on her and her sister. There's a lot of jealousy in there, but there's a lot of envy in there, which are both deadly sin. Isn't it like kind of crazy? So we see a flashback. The flashback is actually really big in this one, and this is kind of cool because it is a, what should I call it? For example, right, a flashback with Eleanor that would be that big would be annoying because we know so much of it. But a flashback for Tahani like that is kind of a lot. One of the worst things she did, because you guys remember, Eleanor had the worst thing that she did was a shirt bitch. Well, they showed Tahani the worst thing. So they literally did a statue for her sister, and Tahani ended up destroying the statue. You know? This is super good. Now, the question also is, why is that important? Is because Tahani and Shiri really do belong in the good place. They're morally wrong. And yes, even then, Tahani is an answer. Eleanor was just that way because she's that way, right? There's childhood trauma, but it's a life of survival. Herself and I. Tahani is a good person that helped a lot of people. Even though the motivation wasn't honest, the action was good itself. If somebody gave me a pie, right, and it's a blueberry pie, and I don't like blueberry, and I gave it to somebody else, right? Yes, I gave it because I didn't like the pie. If it was an apple, I would have taken it. But there's somebody that eats a pie. So although the motivation is not really behind it, there's some cases where it can be forgiven, right? So Shiri and Tahani that belong in a good place are like, yo, why should we stay here? And the only person that says that is Tahani. Shiri is like, okay, well, guess what? If I can bring you guys with me, I can bring you guys with me. She is the best person in the neighborhood. And what's insane, Shiri, just to show you, and this is I didn't talk about it before, which I definitely should have had. We're having 7%. I dropped 13% and 7 minutes. I don't understand. Shiri is kind of like a playboy and a good place. Everybody likes Shiri. But that's because everybody values good people. Everybody values good values. And Shiri embodies that's the best. So Shiri's like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that everybody is a better person than they were before. I want to train you guys to be the best person possible. That way, we are all worthy of being there. So this is the kind of crazy thing, right? Because they want to go to the good place, but this is coming back from season 1, episode 1. Do we belong in a good place? I have to go 6%. Bitch, I'm a cow. Whoa. So then I kill you in the city. This is and we're back. Sorry about that. Again, not sure what's going on. We have horrible, very, very horrible. I don't understand how we can go from 20 to 30% and now 2%. However, there is something I have to tell you. I did lack some storage for the TikTok Live, so with not only the TikTok Live, that's possibly why the battery is having issues. So, like I was saying, this is still a good place, right? This is still the same thing. And this is kind of nice. So with a good place, what we're having a discussion of, okay, well, from the get-go, right? With Eleanor, and this is kind of cool because you're taking the whole show in consideration. It started from, can Eleanor pretend to be in a good place? Can Eleanor belong in a good place if she makes an effort? Can we save Eleanor from being somewhere to the bad place? And it's the same thing from the good place. Are you deserving to be in a good place? Can you stay in being a good place? With enough effort, can you become a good person even after your death? Right? So, and this is also important because all of this is from the perspective of somebody that wants to be in a good place. What are the actions that you're going to commit are going to be in life? And when you look at it, it makes sense because I want to be watching this show when I'm alive, not when I'm dead, right? So at the same time, the principle or the concept of becoming a good person or having higher moral value when you die is not possible because after death, there's nothing. And if there is something, it's predetermined by your life you live. If the reincarnation, you can reincarnate into a good, if you're a good person, you have a good reincarnation. If you're a good person, you go to heaven. If you're a good person, you enter the kingdom of Allah. If you're a good person, here, right, you know? I don't know what the Torah version of heaven is. I have no clue. But this is kind of cool because this is still a case to be made of there's work to be done here. Now, this is super, super, super nice. Eleanor leaves, and Eleanor's plan is to leave to the middle place. Now, this is kind of cool because you see the evolution of Eleanor. The evolution of Eleanor is, and I would love that to be the case. I don't know if that's the case because it was yesterday I watched it, I don't remember. But you see the evolution of Eleanor. So Eleanor in the very first half, she is a person that is kind of morally ambiguous, right? So I think I would love to see or going to see Mandy Sinclair to ask him another morally questionable person what to do here. And this would be cool, right? However, she's going there. And the cool thing is she didn't know that she's running away. And she does it's not mad at her running away. He's like, why are you running away? Which is a better question that it's emotional. It's very emotional. And you know what's insane? She is conflicted, and Eleanor's character is rightly conflicted. She did everything she could to be a good person. It wasn't enough. She's giving a second chance at either succeeding or failing, and she chooses to run away, which is a normal fight or flight reaction, right? And I would have liked to fight for Shiri. See, and that's also the thing that's important, right? That's also the thing that's important. And this is kind of the craziest thing possible, right? So in the very first season, this is why the show is great, but you really have to pinpoint certain points. Maybe it's very easy for you guys to understand. It took me a couple of listening to realize what's going on. See, with Eleanor in the first season, you don't know that she doesn't know that she loves Shiri. She falls in love with Shiri, right? And even then, we learn how she fell in love with her. So Shiri was gonna sneeze, and she took a Kleenex and she gave it to him before he sneezed because she would need it. So she was thinking about other people well-being even when they were doing well, which is a very nice case, which is why he fell in love with her. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Eleanor now has a knowledge that she's in love with Shiri, right? Or a version of her was in love with Shiri, right? And this is kind of cool. This is super, super, super cool. Why? Because she could be saying for Shiri knowing that she loves him, right? Or she doesn't. And that brings another question. That brings another question which is as important. beautiful singing. If you're doing something that you don't know is wrong, then you're not really doing something wrong. There's no bad intention behind it, right? If you're doing something knowing that there's a good thing to do and you don't do it, then it's a wrong action because you didn't choose the best course of action, right? I love this. Eleanor changed her mind, right? And she's telling Michael, like, listen, we're gonna help you at one condition. She needs to be a teacher. Now, this also is pretty cool because Eleanor thinks that she was able to transform her and Jason into a better person. So even a person like Michael would be a good person. Not, however, next episode is gonna be the trolley. Is it the trolley or not yet? No, it's not. It's the next one. Cool. Yeah, she wants she needs to teach Michael how to be a better person. Now, there's two reasons for that. They want to become a better person because again, they don't want to feel like he's gonna betray them at all costs. But there's also the fact that there's a possibility that if he wants to betray them or if he wants to do them harm, they'll feel guilty about it and they won't do it. So this is pretty freaking good. And I do like that. I do really like that. we have another case. This is super cool because the transformation. So we have another scene where it's Eleanor and Michael who are talking about what they're gonna do when they're gonna be in a good place. It's a cool scene for a couple of reasons. The first reason why it's so cool is because Michael abandoned the idea of being an architect, right? His main purpose, his whole life work was becoming an architect. Then when he finally succeeded, it didn't work. So, it's his whole life work. You have Vicky as the best person, so this is kind of cool. This is